Hello everybody, good morning to you. I'm just going to wait as always for a few people to come in. I've got quite a poor signal here, so we'll see how far we get. I've had to sort of suspend my phone in the air in order to get just 2 bars on the signal. So I'll just wait for some people to come in. I appreciate this is an early live compared to normally, but it's just because I've got a busy day ahead and it feels right to send out this support to people and give people an overall energy update um, of where we all are, kind of thing. Okay, so I'm just going to wait a few more minutes. Let's check my signal. It's been quite bad, the signal this morning, but we're all right at the moment. As long as we've got 2 bars, we should be okay. So I'll just wait a few more minutes. I appreciate there won't be as many joining because it's so early and a lot of people will be sleeping. But I'm going to give an update of just an overall understanding of where we are as a collective. Um, Hopefully that will support people. I like to think so. It may be in this live video that I say things that may trigger people, and that's okay too. Um, if it does trigger you, feel free to just unfriend me. That's okay. I'm completely at peace with that. There are about 6,000 people on the Facebook Friends waiting list. It's very hard to know who wants a place and who doesn't, because I don't know the people. But if anything I say does trigger you and you don't resonate with me anymore, just feel free to unfriend. But we are going to speak some truths that do need to be said, do need to be shared, just because we're all eventually stepping into our new shoes. And this timeline is that many people have stepped into their new shoes, which means they can't be anything else other than the truth they've embodied. So they'll speak the truth they've embodied. And naturally speaking, there are over 7 billion people on the planet, so they're not going to resonate with everybody. And that is the perfection of the whole of this design. It's perfect. So just be you and be true to yourself and your path. That's the only thing to do, is you be true to yourself and your path. And if that means unfriending me because I say certain things, that's all right. And I just be true to my path, because it's the only truth. It's the only truth for all of us. So we've got some people in. We will get started. As I say, if this resonates and it supports you, beautiful. If it doesn't, there will be somebody that does resonate with you. And what you find on the path is that different people resonate with you at different times, because we're always expanding and expanding. And it is a timeline of what I call musical chairs, which is the energies that come in, they affect us, they help us expand, and all of a sudden we're not resonating with certain people, or new people come into our life that have a closer proximity to our energy frequency, and so they begin to resonate with us. It's all one plan. It's all a whole great big plan. We can get buried in the detail of ourselves and our own world and our own experience, but what really helps you and what really brings peace is to see, or try and see, the bigger picture of what's unfolding for the whole. And that actually brings you peace. It brings you peace in this moment, because you do see, when you see this, you see the divine perfection of it all, no matter how it looks. So I'm going to explain Sunday's energies. I'm going to categorize it a little bit. What I want to say, and I've said it before, is that every single one of us has our own story. We have our own book. So, for instance, this could be my book, and this is my tailor-made package, my crystalline program, I call it, that helps me awaken. So the awakening is in there. It helps me evolve in my awakening. It helps me become the new human. And then this is somebody else's book. And their experiences in their life may be entirely different to mine or yours. Their path of awakening will be entirely different to mine or yours. But their book is tailor-made to help them awaken and for them to rise and rise in energy and become their new human. So all paths lead to the one. All of them. Doesn't matter how people's paths look. Their path is tailor-made. It's perfectly designed, no matter what you may perceive. But it's tailor-made. All paths lead home. All paths. So the truth is to believe in your own book, to believe in you, to be able to see your own book, to be able to see what triggers you, to be able to see your patterns, to be able to see how you have been and who you are now, and then be able to see the signs within your own book. And this person will have their signs. They'll have their storyline and chapters that lead them back to the one. So we all, over 7 billion people, have their own book. Nobody has the same book. But what we do all share are the same stages, okay? So everybody's experiences are supposed to be different. Everybody's route back is supposed to be different. But we all go through the same, what we could call ascension stages. And if you don't like the word ascension, you could say embodiment stages. So there's these underlying stages that each of us reach. And we get to this stage. And this is new. And then we move from that new stage and travel and travel and travel to the next stage. And then that is the new. And then we travel again to the next stage, and that is the new. And so all of us have to go through the same stages of undoing what we thought was truth, undoing who we thought we were, undoing the human being that we lived by, acted by, thought by. We undo it all. And so those stages are, they're esoteric, they're hidden until you experience them. And then when you experience a stage, you know the stage. And then you can support others through that stage. But before that stage, you didn't know it existed. You experience a stage. We don't learn it in our brains. We experience it through the living state of being human. So in other words, we all have our individual way back, but we all share the same stages of awakening, embodiment, ascension. I also want to say that wherever you were born in the world, it can be that you've had influences through written ancient books such as the Bible, the Quran. If you were brought up in India, you might have those teachings. If you you could be influenced by the Mayan culture, Aborigine, all of these different teachings that are ancient. And what I want to say about all of those books is that they all carry hidden meanings. Even if you follow Buddhism, every single one of those books is more than it seems, because each of those books point you back to you. They all have one thing in common, which is love. Love for Mother Earth, love for yourself, love for others. So they all have love in common. But underlying in each of those books are hidden teachings. And those teachings have been distorted over time in order for people to have power over you. Some of those teachings. But the people that those books are about, actually those people point you back to yourself. They're showing you the way to become the new human. They're showing you where your power always lay. So the reason I'm saying this, there's a valid reason I'm pointing this out, that whatever influence you may have had, depending on where you were brought up in the world, or maybe your family culture, there's a reason I'm saying it. Is because at a later stage of ascension, whatever that influence was, whatever book that was, it will support you and help you at a later stage of ascension. Not by what man has done to that book, not how it's been distorted, but because you will experience parts of the book yourself. No matter which teaching you may have been influenced by as a child. It's kind of like a hidden support system where you then get to experience certain parts of that book, because the books were always pointing it back to you, for you to be embodied and you to be empowered. It helps you through not final stages, but later stages of the ascension, where you experience aspects of the book yourself, such as we could say if we take the Bible for example, just as one example, the crucifixion. You experience the living crucifixion. So you stay in body, you don't die, you don't leave the body as such, but you do go through your own crucifixion, which you give to yourself. You crucify you. You realize that you sabotaged the whole of your life all along. You realize that you crucified yourself all along. And at that point, when you go through that stage, which some have in recent weeks, you then let go of everything that you were. You let go of your human, the human being that you were. You're ready to let go. You're ready to die even though you stay in the body. You're ready to let go of the whole of you. And that's the final death that I have mentioned in previous weeks. So that's just an example based on the Bible. But if you follow the Quran, or if you follow the teachings in India, or if you follow Buddhism, there's going to be parts of those books, maybe a different story, maybe it refers to different people, but you'll experience it that way rather than the Bible, okay? So there's no wrong or right. There's just the support system that is hidden within some of those books that help you through the latter stages of becoming the new human. But back to the world and all these people on the planet. I did a diagram. I haven't had chance to do it today. But if you imagine that this is frequency rising, okay? So we've got a lower frequency here of, say, a rock or soil, and then we've got frequencies here of, say, the animal kingdom, or say the plant kingdom, and then we've got the animal kingdom. And then we've got humanity at various stages of awakening back to themselves. Some are unawakened, so they're here. They're in forgetfulness. They've lost their way. Intentionally, they chose to be here. They chose to forget. And then you have people that then awaken and awaken and awaken, and they're on their path and they're on their path, okay? So everybody in the awakened community, everybody is at a different frequency. And that's why it's very hard to write anything anymore, because who are you talking to? Everybody is at a different stage. Everybody has their own book, their own influences to get them up here and then carry on and carry on and carry on, okay? But everybody has their own book. So what would be the point in me saying this is how it is, this is how it is? Because no, it's how it is for me. And how it is for you is based on where you are. And then you carry on, and then it's based on where you are and where you are and where you are. So if this is my little purse, by the way. I'll just show you, it's really cute. It's even got like little feet that wiggle. But anyway, let's say this is planet Earth. And this is 7 billion different perceptions looking at planet Earth, okay? Every single one of those perceptions, those human beings, you can see, they will see planet Earth differently. Their perception is entirely their vantage point, no others. Nobody has your perception, nobody has my perception. We see from where we view at, based on our consciousness level. So if we're unawakened, and I can't really hold both, but if we're unawakened, we see planet Earth, we see humanity, we see reality this way. If we're newly awakened, we see it from here. If we're far into our awakening, we see it from here to planet Earth. If we have just gone through Sunday's energies, which I will explain, but if we've met those energies and are going through those now, we're seeing it from here. But every single person is seeing it differently. And so that's why the only answer is within you. We can support the people that are here. You could call them the forerunners. I don't like these labels, but let's just call them the forerunners. The people that are here, that are meeting the energies as they come in. They can see the people here, 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 here. The only reason they can is because they've already gone through that. So the stages of the path that this person is at, this person can see and understand. Why? Because they've gone through it. But the person here that is struggling, they can't understand the perception of here. They can try and learn it with the mind. But here they haven't experienced it. They haven't met that point yet on the path. So the people here can't experience what the people here are experiencing until they travel their journey, which they're going to do, and then they can. So the people here are kind of pretty much on their own, really. They're quite isolated because there's nobody to really talk to except God. That's the main source. So back to Sunday's energy, and then I'll go through the different sort of categories that I'll loosely define. Humanity received on Sunday the highest frequency of energy we've ever received in our living history. Now, for the people up here, and I'm going to categorize it, okay? This is where I'm going to categorize it, and yet ignore the categories, because how can you categorize 7 billion different perceptions? You can't. They're all unique. But I'm just going to do it to help people understand what they may be going through, and hopefully that supports. The energy that came in on Sunday for the people that are the forerunners, they haven't come fully back into their body. So we're on Tuesday. The energies that presented mean that they are half here and half not here. They're partly in their body, and their consciousness is partly not in the body. They are at that stage of literally walking with God. Every moment is God. Every thought is with God. Every sight is God knowing. So they're becoming the new human. And just because they're at that stage doesn't mean that's it. That's the end of it. No, they will keep evolving in that state. The stages are step by step by step. And I want to just give you a little example of why. I received a learning dream a little while ago. 2 learning dreams in one night, one straight after the other. The first dream was of a robin in a cage, and it was like a netting. And the 2 dreams had one thing in common, the netting, which was, if you like, the veil, the forgetfulness that we all experienced. So there was a little robin in a cage, but the cage was made of netting, which was the veil. And the robin wanted to get out. And I was the observer, seeing the robin was caged, and I nearly went to try and take the netting off, nearly. And my thought was, oh no, if I take the netting off the cage, that's going to scare the robin, my hand going towards it. It's going to scare the robin, and the robin is just going to fly into the netting and strangle itself in the netting. So I thought, no, I can't interfere. I can't take this netting off. Because if I do that, that tiny little bird is going to be absolutely frightened and will end up killing itself. The next dream that same night was of a lioness. So this was just a few weeks ago, before the Lion's Gate. It was of a lioness. And the lioness had this bigger netting all around it, all around its body. It was trapped in the netting by man, by humanity. And I walked with the lion, and I could see the netting all around it. And then I got distracted in the dream. And when I looked down towards the lion again, the lion wasn't there. But the netting was just on the floor. So the point to the 2 dreams was that If we take the veil off too soon, it's too much. We cannot cope. We could not cope with the difference that we would experience. We could have a heart attack, we could combust. We could not embody all the energy frequency that we rise and rise and rise into. We could not do it in one moment, which is why we've got all of these different ascension stages that lift us and lift us and lift us away from what we were and into what we become. And then at a certain point, the net, just as the lioness, the net just comes off. We don't have to force it, we don't have to try. It just comes off at the right time. So Sunday's energies for the forerunners, and this is where I'll categorize now and then finish up. For the forerunners, they are experiencing the new human. What is the new human? What is it? It's being in here. It's being with God. It's the energy of God within you, experienced in all moments. So that as each person steps into their new human, each of these people on the planet, one by one by one by one, then experience their life in all moments with God. And it comes from within you. It isn't a sudden experience of God within. It isn't sudden. It grows. It's like the robin and the lion, okay? It's step by step by step. I've been experiencing the divine within me since the 2nd of January. Not every moment of every day, but it's been increasing and increasing and increasing and increasing for 7 months. So see the time period of knowing God within you, experiencing God on the outside. It's a stage. It develops and develops and develops gracefully and slowly. But at the parallel is that you're working on your human at the same time as that's happening. So the people that have absorbed the highest energy on Sunday are now in their own shoes. They're in their new shoes. They cannot not walk in their new shoes. They've had to leave off the old shoes. They can't step back in to their old shoes. And that has, it will have repercussions in this dream reality, because they can only be what they've become. They can't deny their truth anymore. And so those people, not everybody's going to understand at first until they become that. And then they become that. And then more and more and more people become that new human, where their inner world is where they exist. Their inner world inside them is physical, mental, energetic, emotional. It's all God within them. And so because there's this physical, mental, emotional feeling of God within, in all moments, everything on the outside is known and seen as God. And that's what I mean by the new human walks with God, because they've realized it within themselves. It's not a mental thing. It's not you can't learn this. You can only experience it, and then you can only be it, because that is your new truth. You can't be anything less than that. And not everyone is going to understand that, but the people that have embodied it understand it, and they can just allow everybody else to be, because everybody is God. Everybody is an aspect of God. And all it takes is time to realize that one by one, by one, by one, that every single thing is God. The leaf is God. Everything contains God's essence. Everything. And when the awakened human being that has realized God within themselves, when they then see God on the outside, say as another human being or as an animal, their essence sees the essence within that person, the God essence of that animal, the God essence of that leaf, the God essence of that other human being. And then within that person, plant, animal, at a subconscious level, the God essence in that sees that it is seen. So it's subconscious because they don't have the memory of that yet. And so it's God, seeing God, seeing God, seeing God. Regardless of whether a person remembers that they are made of God or not. It's felt, it's known. So with an animal, there's a reaction. When the essence of God here sees the essence of God in an animal, there's this point, this connection point, where the essence within that animal realizes it's being seen, and something changes, and when it looks back at you, there's a change. Because God in them knows it's being seen by this person that is God realized within themselves. I know it's complicated, but it's not. It's not in reality. It's simple. It's easy. It's effortless in reality. It may sound complicated, but only for a mind. It's not complicated. It's evolution. It's where we're headed. It's the golden era. It's the age of Aquarius. It's the new human. And it is effortless. All that's required is for us to get out of our own way. And that's the journey. The journey is to let go of the old human. And it takes time. And it takes your own dedication. So this energy that came in on Sunday, normally when energies come in, they come in, we absorb them. They take 3 days to integrate. We usually have a revelation or a shift up, a little stage. We go through, we have an aha moment. Usually that's what happens. But on Sunday, the energies came in. And for some people, they haven't gone. So they were risen higher. They've shifted higher on the Sunday. But instead of coming back down to earth completely, which is normally what happens, they've just come down so far. They haven't come back fully. And that is part of the stage. This is the collective of where we are. It's that some people rose on Sunday, and instead of coming right back down again to their whatever state they're at, whatever stage they're at, instead of coming right back down again, they're suspended. They're here. And what it is, it's the magnetism of the energy. The magnetism is holding them up, literally. It's still there. It's not going away, and it's not going to go away because it's a rise in energy to stay there. And they will carry on rising and rising and rising and keep going through their stages still, where their gifts will come on board more, where their energy presence will become stronger and stronger and stronger. People won't understand their presence. Some people will, some people won't, and that's okay. The point is that they're an energetic, and that energetic is going to expand and expand. It always has been. It has been all year. And so these people, you could say, are holding an energy in the world. They're holding the light. They're being the example. to help everybody else see what's possible. Because it's not about one person in the book, in the Bible, doing this. It's they pointed the way. Every book, religious book, points the way for you to do it. And that's what we're all doing, one by one. So the people that have embodied Sunday's energy, they're not coming back down again. It's an energy, it's a magnetism that holds them up. They're not going to come right back down again. They're just going to keep going up and up, but whilst retaining the body. And it's just like being a light to say, this is possible. This is what we are all doing. Everybody can do this. Everybody will do this in their own way, in their own time. Some people will exit the body to do this. You know, some people are going to leave being human. They're going to leave this life and ascend. And I've already said this before, but they're going to ascend after the life. But a lot of us are staying, and we're doing it whilst retaining the body. So whilst there's some people that are experiencing, the only simple way to describe it is walking with God, but it comes from within. It's not a sudden stage. It's been evolving and evolving for months for these people. But now they can't come back down again. They have to walk in their new shoes. But just as there are people at that stage, there are also a lot of awakened people that are working on themselves at their stage. So remember, we all go through the same stages. So for a lot of people in the spiritual community, I'm going to say that they are going to get hammered in order to see their remaining belief systems and behavioral patterns. And there's going to be people out there that offer support to them. So if you don't know how to see through your belief systems, if you don't like how you feel, do something about it. Because this really is the time to sort yourself out. And I say that with love, because you don't have a choice now. You don't. And that's what your reality is going to bring to you. You're going to have to face yourself. If you haven't done already, you're going to have to face the patterns and behaviors that you're still running within you. And it's going to be intense. It's going to be strong, whatever presents. Because there's this beautiful ultimate plan that means you've got to face them in order to become the fuller version of you. You've got to go through the same stages every other person has gone through if they're at that higher stage of new human. You've still got to do that. And you've set up your book in order to do so. It's all written within your own book to see your patterns, but you've chosen to do it your way. Your way is not another person's way. But for right now, with the collective human timeline at the moment, it's going to be tough for people. And I've been pointing to it getting worse for a good few weeks now. But whatever is left has to come undone. It has to be seen. It might not be pretty. It might not be pleasant. But there's a bigger reason for it. And that is that you see what's going on within you, the remaining belief systems, the remaining behavioral patterns. You work with them because they're so intense at this point, and you free yourself. You free yourself of suffering. There's no suffering when the energy you breathe and be in all moments is love. Suffering does not exist in the frequency of love. Suffering exists in polarity, and it begins with our thoughts. So this timeline is going to be hard for many people that haven't yet dealt with it. And there's nothing wrong, by the way, if you haven't dealt with it so far. There's nothing wrong with that, because the difference is you may have decided to go 30 years unawakened and to hold on to certain patterns just until there, okay? Whereas somebody else may have awakened a few years ago and decided in their book to get through so many patterns really, really, really quickly, okay? So you're not doing anything wrong. But if it's calling you, if you get triggered, if things become really intense and tough, you get to choose. You can deal with it or you can ignore it. And that's your choice. It's your free will. Nobody's choosing for you. You get to choose. That's your power. Choice. Choice is your power. And you get to ignore things within you and just have a nice day the next day and think, oh, everything's hunky-dory now. But no, it isn't, because you've just ignored what's triggered within you the previous day, and that needs working on in order to dissolve the pattern. We all have to do it. We all go through these same stages. So there is support out there. You're not on your own at all. There is so much support out there in many different ways within the spiritual community. So find someone that resonates with you. But there's one thing to be clear on. It's down to you. Because only you go through the eye of the needle. There's plenty of support, plenty of people that hold compassion. But it is only you that can see you, that has the power to change you, that has the power to free you, that has the power to open the door and get out of the cage, that has the power to stop your suffering, that has the power to stop sabotaging you. So understand that there's lots of support out there, but nobody can do this for you. Nobody. You have to choose to do it for you and empower you so that you then become that new human if you choose to be. If you choose to be. It's a choice, and there's no right or wrong choice. Some people won't choose to become that. They'll choose to exit. And that's perfect too, because if we move on to the 3D or the unawakened community, we look at the chaos, we look at the continued chaos that will not abate. Why? Why will it not abate? Why will it not stop? Because all of that is serving a purpose for people that are still unawakened to start to question their life, to start to question their reality, to start to question the structures that have been in place for hundreds of years that have sought to control you and hold power over you. So everything has to come undone. Now, a human could say, well, that's not pretty, it's not nice, it's ugly, it's messy. But that's just a perception. It's just a perception based on thoughts of one human being or another or another or another. The overall design, the design of the divine, is that God becomes known within all. Heaven on earth. Humans walking with God. That's the whole collective design of what's happening. It just depends on your perception, whether you feel it's not pretty. There has to be the sight of the polarities. We have to be able to see all polarities, all of them, the beauty, the ugliness, if you like, the good, the bad. But these are just experiences within a field of polarity. They're not truth. Good, bad is not truth. There just is. There is God's design. And that design was to go into forgetfulness, to forget that you are a facet of God. For other people, billions of people, to forget that they're facets of God and to give their power away. But then to come one by one into the remembrance and the journey back to knowing God within you. So that no matter where you are in the world, you walk with God. There is always God within you, and everything on the outside is seen as God, and you play with God. And so it's God playing with God, playing with God in wakefulness, in walking wakefulness. And that's how we become the change. That's the new human. The awareness, the remembrance. So, the 3D realm, if you like, there will be mass awakenings, continuous mass awakenings. Their awakenings happen the same way ours did, through a difficult period, a difficult time. That's how we awoke. And so they will take the same stages too, but their stages will be quicker than ours. And then there will be people who have played their part. Their souls have played their part. They volunteered to play their part in the fields of forgetfulness and polarities. And some of those people have chosen just at soul level to play their part, to be the polarity, and then exit. And so there will be many that leave before September. There will be. But they've chosen that at soul level, and they've done their job well. Their job is as equal as everybody else's, everyone's. How could it not be? How could each person not be equal to the next person and the next and the next, when ultimately speaking, they're all facets of God? How can God not be equal to itself? It's impossible. It's just our forgetfulness. That's all. So, I hope that helps explain. This is why it's very difficult to write anymore, because who are you writing to? Everybody has their own perception. Everybody is at their own stage. Everybody has their own book that they go through, their story, until they reach the end of the human book. And that book is done. It's complete. Why? Because they then become the new human. And that is a brand new book. It's not another chapter. That human is gone. And this new human is the one that's walking now. This is the new human that creates. But the difference is they're creating with God within themselves in all moments. And one by one, that's what people will do together. So in terms of the tour, I hope that helps a little bit in terms of where we're all at and where we're headed and what is here. What is here as a potential. In terms of the tour, I have no information about this Sunday. I will receive information, but I haven't got it yet, so I haven't got a clue at this point what happens on Sunday. What I want to just remind is that it's only the guidance within myself, my own guidance, that told me to do the tour each week. And each week I can see, looking back, how it has helped lift people through these times, how it's helped people come together. But I'll only do it as long as I'm guided to do it, okay? I won't do it for the sake of it. I won't do it just to play in 4D. I do it because there's a purpose, an energetic purpose to it. So I'm not sure if there are 2 weeks left of the tour or whether there are 7 weeks left. In other words, the last tour gathering will either be on the 22nd week, which is the 16th of August. So not this Sunday, but next Sunday, that could be the last one. Or whatever the guidance presents within me, it may be, this is what I've been getting recently, is it may be that it carries on to the equinox in September, and then that is the final week, the equinox week. So we've got either 2 weeks or we've got 7 weeks, and I just haven't got a clue. I would just do as it presents and as guided within me, because when that does stop, it will only be because there's something else to do. We must keep evolving. Okay, so we'll see what happens on the tour this Sunday. What is certain, everybody that has been going physically and all around the world, is that the energies have increased and increased and increased in the 20 weeks we've been doing it. Everybody's noticed that. So we're all doing this. We're all doing this. Everybody is getting lifted up, okay? One by one by one. So we'll see. I haven't got a clue. We'll see. And that is the new way of being. It's not really to plan, you know, there is no planning. It's just hearing within, which is your divine guidance, it's your higher self, and responding to it. It's as simple as it gets. No thought required. You just show up for you. And every one of us has that inner guidance where we listen within. It's a balanced guidance. It's not an over-emotional guidance. It's very neutral. It's very balanced. And it feels good. It feels of love. And we just listen to that. And then we know to act. And then that person knows to act, and that person knows to act. And then all of a sudden we're working together because we've all responded to our inner callings. And that's how unity works. It's us each responding to the power within us, to the inner callings within us. Unity isn't about leaders or people telling you what to do. That's all out there. Your guidance comes from here, the God within you, the God that is within every human being and every single thing ever created. And that's why the greatest thing you can do is go within and listen to you. What does your heart say? because your heart speaks at first so much more quietly. It doesn't really, but it seems that your heart speaks quietly. And it seems quiet because of the chatter within the mind. And the ascension journey is to marry the two so that the mind quietens down and the mind allows the heart to speak. And then all of a sudden, the heart is the louder voice. The heart is the one you listen to, and the mind, married to the heart, is on board. And the mind allows you to take that action, or to say this, or to not say that, because the mind is then in balance with the heart. Okay, I've spoken enough. God bless everybody. I have no idea if any of this has helped. I hope it has. Please forgive me if it hasn't. It's just that Sunday's energy was unprecedented. It has had a huge effect on everyone, okay? But the significant potential for the collective of humanity is that Sunday presented a stage that people will be experiencing where they were lifted up and they haven't come back down. Not fully. They're half here and they're half not here. And that is perfect. That's how it's supposed to be. Because you're walking in your new shoes. Being the new human. Being the example. Showing everyone what's possible for them. Because everybody can do it. Every one of us. That's why we're here. To bring heaven to earth. So never give up. Never, never give up. God bless you all. Take care. And see you on Sunday. If not before, I will chime in as support, just little ones, little 10 minutes here and there, just to help people. That feels a calling to do, to help bring people back into balance as we go, as things get difficult for people. I'll be here to just try and support my way. Otherwise, I'll see you on Sunday. Bye for now. Look after you. Hope it helps somehow. Bye for now.